Welcome to our countdown of the 10 funniest honey badger moments. Few creatures on this planet encapsulate the phrase "personality goes a long way," quite like the honey badger. This isn't the largest predator you'll find on the African plains, nor the one with the sharpest claws, but it might be the one with the most character. Get ready to laugh out loud as we dive into the wild antics of this fearless creature. From daring heists to mud-wallowing escapades, the honey badger never fails to entertain. So buckle up and prepare yourselves for a wild ride as we witness the sheer audacity and comedic genius of the honey badger. Here we find the honey badger in its natural element, causing trouble. A venomous snake, perhaps a puff adder or a cobra, has slithered out onto the open savanna. Most animals would steer clear, but not our protagonist. The honey badger approaches with a casual swagger, completely unfazed by the danger. The snake rears its head ready to strike, but the honey badger is too quick. It dodges the attack with a comical sidestep, almost as if it's bored. This dance of annoyance and venom continues for a while, the snake getting increasingly frustrated with its inability to land a blow. Finally, the honey badger tires of the game. It lunges forward, grabs the snake and, well, let's just say the snake won't be bothering anyone anymore. Mealtime for the honey badger. But this isn't your average hunt. Today's target, a beehive guarded by thousands of stinging insects. Most animals would think twice before even approaching such a fortress, but not the honey badger. It charges straight towards the hive, a furry battering ram on a mission for sweetness. The bees, naturally, are not best pleased. They swarm around the honey badger, stinging with all their might, but our hero is unfazed. It continues to bash at the hive, its thick skin and even thicker skull protecting it from the onslaught. Finally, the hive gives way, and the honey badger dives headfirst into the sweet, sticky goodness, completely ignoring the cloud of angry bees buzzing around it. Even when humans try to contain the honey badger's antics, they underestimate its sheer ingenuity. Here we see a honey badger who has found itself on the wrong side of a fence. Now, most animals would see this as an insurmountable obstacle, but not the honey badger. It eyes the fence with a calculating look, then sets to work. It digs furiously at the base of the fence, sending dirt flying everywhere. But this fence is sturdy, and digging alone won't do the trick. Undeterred, the honey badger spots a loose rock. Using its surprisingly strong paws, it wedges the rock under the fence, creating a lever. With a final heave, the fence gives way, and the honey badger saunters through the gap, leaving a trail of bewildered humans in its wake. Chapter 4. Honey Badger, Family Fun. Don't let the honey badger's tough exterior fool you. Beneath that rough and tumble exterior lies a heart of, well, perhaps not gold, but definitely a soft spot for family. Here we see a mother honey badger with her cubs. They're wrestling, play fighting, and generally being miniature versions of their chaotic parent. The mother indulges their antics, even joining in on the fun. She throws her cubs around with playful swipes of her paw, letting them climb all over her. It's a heartwarming scene that reminds us that even the toughest creatures have a softer side when it comes to family. Chapter 5. Return of the Honey Fiend. Remember that beehive from earlier? Well, the honey badger certainly hasn't forgotten. It seems one taste of that sweet nectar wasn't enough. Here we see our fearless friend back for round 2. This time, the bees are ready. They launch themselves at the honey badger in a buzzing, stinging fury. But the honey badger, as always, is undeterred. It shrugs off the stings, its thick fur and even thicker skin acting like a suit of armor. It continues to raid the hive, stuffing its face with honey until, finally, it's had its fill. Victorious and slightly sticky, the honey badger saunters away, leaving the bees to contemplate the meaning of their existence. Chapter 6. Mud, Glorious Mud. Even the most fearless warriors need to unwind sometimes, and what better way for a honey badger to relax than with a soothing mud bath? Here we find our friend indulging in some self-care. It's found a particularly muddy wallow, probably left over from a recent rainstorm, and it's having the time of its life. It rolls around in the mud, covering itself from head to toe. It rubs its back in the mud, it rubs its belly in the mud, it even tries to rub its face in the mud. The result is a comical sight. A perfectly camouflaged, mud-caked creature that looks like it just crawled out of a swamp. But the honey badger doesn't care. It's clean, it's relaxed, and it's ready for its next adventure. You wouldn't think a creature built like a furry tank would be particularly adept at climbing trees. And yet here we find the honey badger, defying expectations as always. It's spotted something up in the branches, perhaps a bird's nest or a tasty-looking fruit. Whatever it is, the honey badger wants it, and it's not going to let a little thing like gravity stop it. It digs its claws into the bark and starts to climb. It's not the most graceful ascent, but it's effective. The honey badger hauls itself up the trunk, branch by branch, until it reaches its prize. Who needs wings when you have sheer determination and a healthy disregard for the laws of physics? Chapter 8. Lion King. More like lion whimpering. Even the king of the jungle knows better than to mess with a honey badger. Here we see a pride of lions enjoying a hard-earned kill. They're just settling down to their feast when a small furry torpedo comes barreling into view. It's our friend, the honey badger, and it's not afraid of a few big cats. The lions, initially amused by this display of audacity, try to shoo the honey badger away. But the honey badger is having none of it. It growls, it snarls, it even charges at the lions, teeth bared. The lions, clearly bewildered by this tiny but ferocious creature, eventually decide it's not worth the trouble. They relinquish their kill to the honey badger, who proceeds to enjoy a free meal. Chapter 9. Digging to the center of the earth. The honey badger is a creature of simple pleasures. It enjoys honey, it enjoys mud baths, and it really enjoys digging holes. Here we see a honey badger in its element, digging with the ferocity of a miniature excavator. It digs and digs and digs, sending dirt flying in all directions. What's it digging for? Who knows? It could be a burrow, it could be a stash of food, it could just be digging for the sheer joy of it. The honey badger doesn't care. It's in its happy place, surrounded by dirt and the satisfying sound of its own digging. Chapter 10. Honey Badger versus Humans, a comedy of misunderstandings. Even when humans encounter the honey badger, it's a recipe for hilarity. Here, we see a group of tourists on safari, observing a honey badger from the safety of their jeep. The honey badger naturally pays them no mind. It's far too busy going about its day, digging, foraging, and generally causing mischief. One brave, or perhaps foolish tourist, tries to get a closer look. He slowly approaches the honey badger, camera at the ready. The honey badger, in response, gives the tourist a look that can only be described as unimpressed. It lets out a warning growl, just to remind the tourist who's boss. The tourist wisely decides to retreat. Some things are best admired from afar. Outro. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these funny honey badger moments, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more wild and hilarious animal videos. The honey badger, with its fearless attitude and hilarious antics, never fails to entertain. It's a reminder that the natural world is full of surprises, laughter, and creatures that defy all expectations. See you next time.